All right. We in the building getting ready to lift off, man. Shout out to everybody. It's the October Buy Back the Block LA meetup. So happy to see everybody. Really excited about tonight's presentation. We have Tanya Mackey in the building, who's a certified financial education instructor, and she's going to be breaking down so many things that we need to know as a community about money, things that we didn't learn in school. The things that we can use to unprogram and reprogram our minds to be able to take advantage of the opportunities out here. So I'm definitely glad you guys are here. And like normal, I like to crack it off with some news, current events, things that are going on right now. So obviously, there's a lot going on in terms of stimulus talk, and everybody seems to be at a gridlock right now, which is not a good thing. At the same time, the housing market is doing extremely well. And I think a lot of people are trying to figure out how that's still happening. So I'm guessing just by taking a look at it, the people who are buying houses are not frontline workers, the people who were probably affected the most by COVID furloughs and layoffs. So these people probably are still able to work from home remotely, and obviously bringing in a paycheck, they still have the ability to qualify for a mortgage. And with rates being at an all-time low, it makes sense that people would be applying for mortgages at record rates and trying to buy. You combine that with the fact that we have very low inventory. And anytime inventory is scarce for something that's valuable, obviously there's going to be a feeding frenzy for what is available. So it makes perfect sense in that regard that housing is doing pretty well. But at the same time, you know, one thing that I heard this week was that the layoffs that we're seeing, obviously they're going to start first with your frontline workers, right? Those are going to be the people in the lowest skilled positions, no disrespect, that are going to be laid off first. But then that next wave of layoffs, if people aren't consuming, if stimulus money doesn't become a part of the picture in a timely fashion, those people are going to get hit. And those are the people now who are at home working remotely. You know, not hardly any of those people have seen furloughs or layoffs, but it could potentially be part of the picture going forward. So I've been keeping track of some things. This is way back from August, but you know, still really relevant. It's showing that the number of people who is skipping payments altogether is falling, but there's a certain sector, which is the FHA loans, that seem to be defaulting or going into serious default more than others. So I'll just read this here. It says, for nearly 2 months now, the share of mortgage borrowers who has received approval, and matter of fact, before I start this, let me share the screen so you can see what I'm reading. Okay. So for nearly 2 months now, the share of mortgage borrowers who has received approval to skip their monthly loan payments has fallen precipitously. But a new trend has begun to develop, which indicates that some homeowners are facing more financial pressure as the coronavirus pandemic continues. The percentage of Ginnie Mae loans in forbearance increased 1 basis point to 10.28, according to the most recent data released Monday by the Mortgage Bankers Association. It was the second straight week in which the share of Ginnie Mae loans in forbearance increased by this month. Prior to that, the percentage had decreased for multiple weeks. Forbearance plans allow mortgage brokers to make reduced payments or skip monthly payments. Under the CARES Act, any borrower with a federally backed mortgage was allowed to request forbearance from their loan servicer. That included Ginnie Mae loans. Ginnie Mae functions similarly to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and securitizes loans made through government programs, including the FHA, the Department of Veterans Affairs, aka the VA, and the USDA loans that are issued. The Ginnie Mae segment tends to have more lower income families and communities of color than the conventional market, said Ed DeMarco, president of the Housing Policy Council, a trade organization. And these groups have been disproportionately harmed financially by the pandemic and its related shutdown. Government programs typically have less stringent requirements for prospective borrowers than Fannie and Freddie do, including lower credit scores and higher loan-to-value ratios. As a result, these programs are especially popular with first-time homebuyers. The rise of the forbearance rate in this segment therefore suggests that people who were first-time homebuyers are more sensitive to the fluctuations in the economy right now. The job market has cooled somewhat over the past few weeks, with layoffs increasing and other indications that the economic rebound may be losing some steam because of the rising COVID-19 cases throughout the country. Mike Frantantoni, chief economist at the Mortgage Bankers Association, wrote in the report. It is therefore not surprising to see this situation first impact the Ginnie Mae segment of the market. Additionally, $600 expanded unemployment insurance benefits ended last week, and lawmakers have yet to approve a replacement. Remember, this is back in August. They've been arguing about this since then. As a result, those who were laid off because of the pandemic will likely face even more financial pressure in the coming weeks. How much of that pressure will be exerted on homeowners isn't clear. The job loss so far has been disproportionately skewed to renters rather than homeowners. It's hard to extrapolate how many homeowners have been helped by the expanded unemployment benefits. Rick Sharga, Executive Vice President at RealtyTrack, a foreclosure listings and search portal. Additionally, many homeowners requested forbearance but continue to make their monthly payments as usual. These people likely viewed forbearance as a safety net if they lost their jobs and the bottom fell out. The number of Americans doing this, though, could soon drop because of the expiration of expanded unemployment, said Karan Kaul, Senior Research Associate at the Urban Institute's Housing Finance Policy Center. That would be a negative development for the mortgage industry that wouldn't be reflected as an uptick in the forbearance rate, since those Americans are already counted as being in forbearance. Whether continued weakness in the economy will result in many of these mortgage borrowers going into default or foreclosure once their forbearance period ends remains to be seen. The CARES Act stipulated that Americans could receive forbearance up to 1 year. As a result, the U.S. likely won't see the number of people in default or foreclosure increase notably until at least the third or fourth quarter of next year, Kaul said. But there's ample reason to believe that the coronavirus pandemic won't lead to a repeat of the foreclosure crisis that triggered to the Great Recession. Homeowners will have a wide array of options to modify their home loans if forbearance ends and they're still in financial trouble. Many of these options didn't exist prior to the foreclosure crisis. That's true. Borrowers who are not required to make lump sum or balloon payments at the end of their loan's forbearance period, Kaul said. Rather, they can work with their servicer to come up with a repayment plan that works best for them. In many cases, this will mean simply tacking on the missed payment to the end of the loan's term. And if the borrowers are in a position where their monthly payments are no longer affordable when the forbearance period ends, they can also request a loan modification from their servicer to adjust the size of the monthly payments, loan term, and interest rate. Plus, homeowners today have more equity built into their homes, unlike in 2008 when many people owed more than their home was worth due to falling property prices and the ability to take out piggyback loans. So if a homeowner reaches the end of forbearance and cannot afford the repayment options their servicer offers, even after a loan modification, they do not need to lose their home to foreclosure. If you're a borrower and can't make a payment at the end of forbearance, you have the option of just selling your home and buying a less expensive home or renting, Kaul said. So that's just something to be able to, just something to keep in mind as far as what's going on. I saw another report today that I probably should have drug in that basically said that the number of FHA loans that are going into default is continuing to rise. And Texas has a very large share of those properties. So it's just something I think, in general, that we need to keep our eye on. We need to be abreast of what's going on, and we need to know some of the things that are being included in this potential legislation. Because not sure if you guys knew, but the new stimulus that's being proposed will ban evictions and foreclosures for 1 year across the board, full stop. So if you're somebody who's renting out, let's say, A and B class rental property, more than likely you have tenants who are not subsidized, not Section 8, not any other program that subsidizes. So if all of a sudden you're not allowed to evict for non-payment of rent for an entire year, and you're using the rent to make your mortgage payment and keep a little change after on the side, how are you going to keep your property if there's no rent coming in and you can't evict to get a new tenant in who will pay you? So these are all basic questions that we have to keep an eye on. Hopefully, what they do with the stimulus, which I haven't seen yet, is that they'll include some sort of subsidy or credit for landlords, which will allow them to be able to still make their mortgage payments and not go into foreclosure, while their tenants are able to enjoy the benefits of no evictions. So just something that's going on in the market, something to think about. Now I'm going to hop off and I'm going to go ahead and turn everything over to Tanya Mackey, who is our guest presenter today, and really looking forward to being able to learn something. So Tanya, you should have ability to take over. If you want to unmute and share whenever you're ready, feel free.
All right.
There you go. You unmuted now.
So I don't see where to share.
Okay, so you should see share screen at the bottom. If you have like a tray of options at the bottom.
I don't. I hit more. Participants. I don't see my options at the bottom. Oh, wait a minute. Let me just hold on a sec. Oh.
All good.
Gonna be a long day. Okay, so let me see. Share. All right, there we go. Share screen number 1.
And if you have audio as well, Tanya, you got to select the audio that you got to share too.
Oh yeah, let me do something else. Okay. All right. Erin, you see me? You see me? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I'm so happy to be here to talk about wealth building, because being broke ain't no fun. And yeah, I said ain't, it's bad grammar. My daughter Erin, which you guys will get a chance to meet one day, she always says, you mess up words, you mess up sayings, and you're millionaire this and a millionaire that. And so I always say, and your point is, and she says, you mix up all those words. And I said, well, Erin, do you want to be rich, or do you want to be a scholar? And so do you want to say I is a millionaire, or I am a scholar? So I'm going to mess up some words, and I'm going to mess up some sayings. And that's the only joke. That's the only joke y'all gonna get today, all right? Okay, but my background is I've been working as a financial planner, personal financial planner, and certified educator for 30 plus years. I am a $1 Million Roundtable inductee, and if any of you are in the financial service business, that's associated with being professional success. They call it pillar of excellence. We're considered some of the top strategists, financial strategists. But when we come together as members, we come together not for accolades or personal gain, but to share how we're able to give people peace of mind, like what you were reading. Some people need some peace of mind right now, save lives and protect the future of our clients. But my passion is I love helping people with their financial needs. I love showing people what to do with their money. They call me the Wealth Accelerator, and I forward a book, and I'll show you at the end. They really do call me the Wealth Accelerator because I help people get where they want to get faster, from buying a house to living a debt-free life, stress-free, never having to worry about money again, and how to become an everyday millionaire. I use debt. I know Mr. Roundtree last time talked about debt a lot, so thank God in my financial literacy, I don't have to talk about that. But using debt as a tool and not a sledgehammer. So the other disclosure, besides me messing up words, is that I'm an educator, not a motivator. So I'm gonna stick with my plan, so you'll see me sticking with my plan. I wish I could be one of those motivators. I wish I could come up with something good, like, to be or not to be. That's about the best I can do, right? That is the answer. And my husband said, no, that is the question. So I still don't know what that is. But at any rate, I'm glad to be here, you guys. And let's get started with this. Let's start first about what the definition of financial literacy is. because empowerment and financial literacy go hand in hand. It is the ability to make informed judgments and to take effective actions regarding the current and future use and management of money. It includes the ability to understand financial choices, plan for the future, spend wisely, and manage the challenges associated with life events such as job loss, saving for retirement, or paying for a college education. Manage the challenges. How do you do that? By preparing for the unexpected, because isn't that what's going on right now? How do you define the lifestyle you want? And why is that important? Because if you don't define it, how can you achieve it? See, there's a big difference between financial security, independence, and freedom. Financial security is achieving your basic survival needs, you know, your rent, food, and things like that. Nothing else, no entertainment, just the things you need to survive. Financial independence is having enough income to support your present lifestyle, unless COVID comes in, and then you're back at the financial security portion. But it affects your present lifestyle, including entertainment, vacation, education. And I'm stopping because it looks like I'm having to let people in, but that's okay. I can do that. That's okay. All right. So admit. All right. And then financial freedom is providing you with the income to support the lifestyle that you want. Retire, own a sports franchise, an apartment in Paris, a house in Ghana. I thank God, I praise God every day that I am living the lifestyle that I want. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. Actually, I did have a silver spoon, but they took it out. They said, this spoon is not for you. Okay, that's my third joke. That's it. Okay, but I did exactly what I'm about to tell you guys to do. And I want the same for you. So if you're in the financial security, we're going to try to work on a plan to move you to the financial freedom area. All right. So let's get a little statistics here. We have a big problem on our hand, and it's called financial illiteracy. And what does that look like? Well, when I look at this chart and I see that 68% of people do not have a recession strategy, what that tells me is that 3 out of 4 people are not prepared in the face of the unexpected, like now, job loss. And 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, which means they can't survive 1 or 2 paychecks. It sounds familiar, right? And so more than 55% of people will retire with less than $10,000, and that's not enough to survive. 1 out of 3 have nothing saved, which means 1 out of 3 are setting themselves up for failure. 86% of people don't know how to invest, and with inflation going up, costs are not with costs going up, you can't hide your money in a cookie jar. You have to let it grow. So how do you ensure that you not become one of these statistics? And how do you assure that? Is through financial literacy. And that's why we're actually here today. It's no secret there's a huge wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots. Financial illiteracy is not unique to any population. It affects men, old, women, young, across all racial and socioeconomic lines. However, much more so between brown and Black people. African American baby boomers will be the first generation to raise another generation. To raise another generation that will be worse off economically than they are. And the Post says that single women own a mere 32 cents for every dollar that single men, and the gap is greater between, broken down by race. Single African American and Latino women own less than 1 cent for every dollar owned by white men. So no longer can we sit and ignore this problem. If nothing changes, it is going to take 228 years to close the wealth gap that exists for African Americans, and that's not acceptable. There has to be a shift in consciousness. This is alarming. If this is not a call to action, I don't know what is. And you know what? Just let's make it clear. I am not trying to discourage you, but I'm trying to inspire you to a call to action. So how do we close the wealth gap? We close it by financial education, financial literacy education. That's the key for moving our community from poverty to wealth. All right. So Building wealth starts with something simple, having enough money at the end of the month. But 55% say they don't have enough money. And why is that? I believe that's because if you're not where you are financially, it just means there's something that you do not know. And I'm hoping that we're gonna get rid of that before the night is up. All right. So what is it that you don't know? Well, a lot of people don't even know that they have a financial problem. To solve a problem, we have to realize that there is a problem. You may not even know that you're on your way to financial ruin. I spoke with a lady the other day, and she said she didn't even know she had financial problems until COVID-19, even though she was living paycheck to paycheck. So awareness brings change. You can't pay your bills on time. You need more income. You're considering bankruptcy or divorce to solve your financial problems. You are relying on credit to make it through the month. See, team here, kings and queens that we have here, don't surrender your income to debt because you might need it one day. Did you know that heavy spending is coupled with a lack of financial literacy? So when someone says, I'm constantly buying something new, that is actually a symptom of a problem. I didn't know that was a problem, but it is, you know. You feel the need to take a vacation on credit to get away from the pressure. You have much, but you fear would not be enough. So now the pandemic has prompted you with a wake-up call. You know, you might be saying, I don't have any savings, I don't have any investments, I'm deeply in debt, you know, this just isn't working, I'm part of the statistics that you show. Well, I was fortunate to have a really great relationship with my grandmother and my great-grandmother. My mother was born in 1934, so my grandmother had her wake-up call during the Depression. If that's not a wake-up call, almost kind of sound like what's going on now. But she took that pandemic and started making better decisions and wiser choices, the definition of financial literacy. She became frugal, she became careful and wise, and she had a great life. So if circumstances right now is causing you to think, oh, my dream is starting to shift, it just might be your wake-up call. Answer the dang phone. When you have a wake-up call, we got to answer the phone. You know, make a choice to do something about it now. I think I'm on another side. Okay. Make a choice to do something about it now. Take some control. You know, we've all had our wake-up calls. I've had wake-up calls. And so my wake-up calls always taught me, never again am I going to put all my eggs in one basket. Never again am I going to ignore the spirit that tells me, don't get in business with this particular person. Never again will I be caught without 6 months to 1 year of living expenses. Answer the dang phone. So if you're having a never again moment, it might be very valuable, because knowing what you're not going to do moving forward is very, very valuable. Let's move on to income doesn't determine your wealth. Now, just because you have money doesn't mean you're always going to have money. 70% of lottery winners waste their money within the first 3 years. First few years, and 60% of NBA and NFL players are broke within 5 years, and 80% are broke within 2 years. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, these guys make $50 to $100 million. How do you go broke making $50 to $100 million? That baffles people. Well, also what baffles me is, and should baffle you, how do regular everyday people spend $5,000 to $10,000 on a credit card and not have 6 months of living expenses? Because they do it one swipe at a time. And these other guys are just doing it at another level. So is the American dream keeping us all broke? It's the spend first attitude. It's that mindset. It's a money personality. And we have a lot of workshops, and won't be able to get into that. But when you get around the right people with the right information, great results can happen. So what do? What if I told you, you don't have to make a lot of money to be rich? You don't need discipline. You don't even need to be self-employed, really. You can build a fortune on a few dollars a day. Would you believe me? Well, the fact is, you don't have to make a lot of money to be rich. More often, the more we make, the more we spend. That's right. You have a car, you want a new car. You have a house, you want a 2-story. You know, we always find ways to spend our raises, our extra income. So the truth is that your income has no bearing on whether or not that you will or can build wealth. Your income does not determine your wealth. Did you know that 1/3 of millionaires never earn more than 6 figures in a year? Check it out. It is your net worth that you have to increase. And that brings me to the first principle that you're going to learn tonight is pay yourself first, before any expenses, before any other purchases. I'm a woman of faith, so I pay God first and then I pay myself. So however it works out for you, but paying yourself is the surest way to increase your net worth. Rich people focus on net worth. They don't focus on raises. You don't ever hear them say, oh, John, at the country club got a 3% cost of living. No, they say John sold his stock options. He's made $1 million on his business. Their financial discussions arise among centers around increasing your net worth. And that's what buying back the block emphasizes, increasing your net worth. So don't save what's left after spending, spend what's left after saving. Pay yourself just like the IRS. They don't wait for you to send money at the end of the year unless you're self-employed. They take their money first. Make savings a part of your budget, because if you pay everybody else, you're never going to have financial freedom. That's one of my big secrets, all right? And I understand that there's so much stuff going on. You said, well, Tanya, how can I do this? Well, COVID actually has uncovered a lot of problems, a lot of solutions, uncovered problems that turn into solutions. We found out that we do have a lot more money to save because we're not out there spending. And you better have some cash for the unexpected, because the unexpected is coming and it will always come. And it will come again and again and again. Okay. So now that you don't have to make a lot of money to be the everyday millionaire, I'm going to show you how you don't have to have discipline. Your pay yourself strategy must be automatic. Automatic investing is the best and only way for saving. The only way to guarantee you'll pay yourself first, make it automatic before you spend it, the same way that the government does it. By making your plan automatic, you don't need discipline. You don't need willpower. You don't need to remember to deposit money at the end of the month. All you have to do is make a decision once and not every month, because every month you go, should I save? Shouldn't I? Oh, this wedding's come. Oh, I need to buy this. That takes discipline and that takes willpower. That takes way too much energy. And if we had all that discipline and willpower, we might not be in the situation that we're in now. I have two really major accounts that I do financial planning for the employees, LA City and LA County. And I've seen regular people become millionaires just because their 401k plans were automatic. I'm debt free, not because I'm really all that disciplined, but because I take discipline out of the equation. Because in our society, we need a system that will work while we sleep. It's called automate your wealth. My whole life is automated. I put my dreams on automation. I have a automated travel fund. That's how I'm able to take 4 to 6 major vacations a year. This year, obviously not. If you want a house, set it up on an automatic payment. It's like forced savings, like equity in a home. So if you want to get rich, make sure you don't have to think about it. That way your savings, even when you run, that way savings happens even when you are getting out of bed. So if not, you run the risk of not making deposits consistently, resulting in less money. All right. Now, we can end this call, really, because pay yourself first and make it automatic are the two most powerful concepts that will make a difference in your life. But since I have some more time, we're going to keep going on. All right. Okay. So how much should you pay yourself first? Well, it kind of depends on how rich you want to be. Do you want to be rich enough to retire early? If that's the case, then you pay 20%. If you want to be in just the rich category, then you pay 15 to 20% of your gross. If you want to be upper middle class, 10 to 15%. Middle class, 5 to 10%. If you want to be poor, think about paying yourself first, but don't do it. And if you want to join the dead broke club, don't pay yourself first, spend more than you earn, borrow the money you can't pay off, and live on credit cards. Now, I'm going to give something free for you today. That's advice, free advice. Don't do it. Don't be part of that club. We have a financial literacy club that we'd love you to be a part of, and we'll talk about it later. Because understand that your investments will become your income later. So, another way that you can save first, the percentages are a lot more effective, but on the average, we work 90,000 hours over our lifetime. So shouldn't you keep at least 1 hour a day of your income for yourself? So what do? Save the first hour of your work day for you. So if you're at $10 an hour, then you're going to save $10 a day. at 10%, which is not unrealistic over the long run if you include dividends. There's two things that you have to have going for you, either time or money. And of course, good health and all that stuff, but time or money. So some of you on the call are in your 20s and 30s, 40 years, you have $1.8 million. 30 years, you have 678,000. Some of you might need cash sooner, so you might have to work 2 hours. $10, 10 years, $61,000. The point is that these numbers can be yours. You may very well be able to retire on those. And really, when it gets right down to it, 1.8 is really conservative. It's a low ball, because if it's in a certain programs, your company will match. So you might say, Tanya, okay, that sounds all great and fancy, but I don't even have enough money to get by. So where do I find all this money you're talking about? Well, that brings me to the next concept. It's probably the most powerful financial concept that you guys will hear. It's called the latte factor. Some of you probably already know about it. It came from because people were buying expensive coffee from Starbucks, and this shows how that adds up. So to find money to save and invest, you must know what your latte factor is. How we spend our money, a few dollars here, a few dollars there, can add up to a fortune, team. And it doesn't have to be a latte. They say, well, I don't drink. What do you drink? Water. It might be cigarettes. God forbid, $10 a pack. It might be more by now. It could be buying magazines at the checkout counter. It could be one of my clients, $250 in subscriptions, monthly subscriptions. It could be paying full price for things instead of getting them on sale. Alcohol, clothes. It could be those 1,000 cable channels that you really think that you need. Okay. It could be the money you're paying interest on those credit cards. It could be Uber Eats. I saw someone call Uber Eats for McDonald's, and they live 2 blocks from the McDonald's. Why are you paying extra? So, $3.50 for a latte, and then $1.50 for a muffin, and then $3.95 for a Jamba Juice. And before you know it, you spent $11 and you haven't even had lunch. So we have mindless daily spending habits that cost you a little bit of money each time and can add up to a fortune. It's really amazing when you look at these numbers. If you spend $10 or $11 a day, how it can increase your net worth. So what is causing you your financial freedom? Ask yourself, what is your latte factor, and is it keeping you broke? Suddenly those little expenses are looking pretty big now, right? And I think COVID has really seen that. So I meet with clients 3, 4, 5 times a week, and the majority of them are having problems in this area, wants versus needs. Learning how to differentiate between wants and needs is critical to creating wealth. And why is that important to understand that? Because if you keep going through your wants instead of your needs, there's never going to be enough money left over to save. This chart shows the opportunity cost for you not understanding the difference. Eating out at $30 a week, and this is a 20-year period mutual fund. The opportunity cost is $76,000. Your cable bill, the opportunity cost is $58,000. So when you look at this chart, you have spent opportunity cost $227,000. What kind of lifetime income could you get? I can show you. If you put $227,000 in a fund, what kind of income could you have? See, children want what they want now. I want it now. But as adults, we should be mature and smart enough to know what we want later and develop a plan. So before you make a decision, this is how I do it. Do you want it? Do you need it? Do you like it? Do you love it? We spend so much time on our wants and our likes that we don't go with our needs and our loves. I love to travel, so I'm not going to spend $500 a month eating out. In 6 months, that's $6,000. I'm not going to do that. So, because I want to travel. So do you want it? Do you need it? Do you like it? Do you love it? Money is a big part of our life, and we need to learn how to get our finances under control. Understanding your investments become your paycheck later. So if you have no investments today, you complete the sentence. Don't get focused on enjoying today that you forget to plan for the future. Okay. Money management styles. This is a whole class on itself, so I'm not going to really go over it a lot, but you have to know what your money personality is, because your money personality chooses how you manage your money. your spending habits, your savings, your relationship, your emotions, how you manage your overall. So if you're living beyond one's means, let's say what your management style is. Living beyond one's means you spend more money than you have. You're typically buying more wants than needs. You often use credit cards for items that you can't afford. Living within one means you spend money, only the amount of money that you have. You use credit cards occasionally. You usually don't have a savings account because you spend most of the money each month. These people are under or have just enough. Just enough is a problem. A flat tire can take your just enough to not enough. You know, a broke refrigerator can take your just enough to not enough. I've been there. So, but living beneath one's means, that's when you have enough money saved to purchase in the short term, what you want to purchase, set aside for the longer term financial goals. These people have found the perfect spending balance between purchasing wants and purchasing needs. They have surplus funds that can be easily participated in spur of the moment with their friends. They can travel, they can enjoy life. They have a lifestyle that's probably stress-free, and they're probably in pretty good health. So I know that I made some mistakes, and I'm sure you have too. You can make 1 or 2 mistakes, but when you keep doing it over and over, what do they call that? They call that a choice. I say, team, be intentional about your choices so you'll have enough money for the things that you love to do. Because when you have out of control debt, you're going to suffer from worry and stress. You're going to pay for those credit cards, those credit cards, dinners that you ate 20 years ago. All right. Now, people without money skills often make poor financial choices regardless of how much money they have. I'm going to use Antoine Walker and Allen Iverson. Now, I'm not talking about anyone particular industry. I'm not trying to, bag on anyone, because I have clients that are athletes too. But as a matter of fact, I'm actually promoting both of these guys because they both have books. They're talking about themselves. So that's why I felt that I could talk about them. They both have books, Gone in an Instant and Not a Game, which is Iverson. These are excellent choices about wealthy people who thought money would always be there. Both of them admit, and I have 2 articles that I found on both of them, they both admit that they were financially illiterate, even though they were rich. And Walker says, it cost me everything. I lost all of my money. He had 186 houses. You might say, well, how do you lose all that money? Well, do you have the liquidity? The market went down. I mean, I have some houses and the gutters and all that stuff. Iverson quoted, just because you're rich doesn't mean you're going to always be rich. He blew $155 million in 2 years. They broke every financial literacy rule in the book. They didn't pay themselves first. They didn't make it automatic. And as a matter of fact, they paid everyone but themselves. Their friends led the same lifestyle that they have, from luxury trips to gifts, and it was just wonderful for them. So in their case, I tell you guys, pay yourself first so you can become a millionaire. In his case, it's pay yourself first so he could have stayed a millionaire. If you would have paid yourself first on $155 million, you don't run out of money. If I would have been their financial planner, they wouldn't run out of money. So they had no controls of their wants. They had no controls of their needs. But more importantly, they didn't have a spending account. So, but what they did have? They had a wake-up call. And their wake-up call, they answered the dang phone. They began building their life again, and they began focusing on financial literacy. As a matter of fact, both of their articles say living above their means. All right, and I must have taken my course. All right, so let's budget. I was laughing because Danny, when he first sent the message out about me, he said, I talk about budget. I'm going to teach you how to budget. I went, oh, Danny, ain't nobody going to be on the call. Nobody wants a budget, because budget, people think it's an automatic downer. So I'm going to call it a spending plan, make it sound better, right? I'll use those terms interchangeably. Spending and saving are the 2 most important lessons that you could ever learn in good money management. It is the most important skill, learning how to manage your money, that you will ever master. So if you don't master this, you will be financially bleak old age unless you marry it or inherit it or hit the lottery. Everything starts with a spending plan. Simply, a budget is simply a plan for how to manage your money. It's a roadmap to give you the lifestyle that you want, the lifestyle that you want to live. Most people, and that's called financial freedom. Most people, biggest fear about retirement or life period is the lifestyle. So a budget doesn't mean you can't treat yourself. It just means that you know where your money is going before you spend it. Doesn't that make sense? All right. Have you guys heard of liquidity injection? That's what the government does. They call it a liquidity injection. When they spend too much money, they, inject some liquidity. Well, we don't have that. So we got to do something else. What does budget give you? It gives you control. Knowing exactly how much money you have at any given point puts you in the driver's seat. A budget is just a current picture of what you're doing. You don't have to, you may have thought that a budget tells you what you can't do, but that's actually the opposite. That's a myth. It tells you what you can do. It gives me the lifestyle that I want. I want to travel, so my spending account allows me to do that. I look at my spending account and I say, I want to go to Ghana. Let me see what I can do. It's a tool. Yes, ma'am. I call it my yes, ma'am account. Yes, ma'am, you can do this. Yes, ma'am, you can do that. Remember, your investments become your income later. 2, organization. It keeps you organized. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's the plan you have for your money. Yes, you don't have to make 6 figures to become a millionaire, but you do have to have a plan. Warren Buffett, I like his philosophies. He says a spending plan tells you where you want your money to go rather than you wondering where it went. So, like none of us know where our money went. We don't have we have CPAs, but I don't let my CPA write my check. We should always want to know where our money went. Kareem taught us that lesson. Don't have people just writing your checks. Okay. All right. That's a whole nother conversation. The third benefit that a budget does, it actually gives you more money. See, my spending account turned my latte factors into dollars. Working within a budget leaves you with more money at the month. So you might think budgets are restrictive. No, not at all. It opens up a whole world of possibilities, opportunities. Sticking with your budget will give you so many opportunities, because if you don't have it, you won't have liquidity. Like Antoine Walker, he didn't have the liquidity. We bought a condo in Rio because we had liquidity. A business opportunity came where we need to buy an 18-wheeler. We could because we had liquidity, because we have a spending account. I have an office right across the street from where I live. We bought the building. We could because we had a spending account. See, it works. We recently bought an apartment building in Mississippi I told you guys about. We could because we had a spending account. So stop thinking that it's your enemy. It's actually your best friend. So, I don't know how that one got here, but let's play it.
How to set a budget and stick to it. A budget is a tool you need to help you stretch your paycheck as far as it'll go. And all it takes is just a little bit of discipline, planning, and most importantly, prioritization. While creating a budget may seem overwhelming at first, the time you spend putting it together will certainly be worth it when the process of paying your monthly bills becomes a little less stressful. So, where do you start? Well, setting a goal is always a good place to begin. It gives you something to shoot for. And then, of course, making a plan that's going to set you in motion. So here's how to do that in 6 easy steps. Step 1. Know your income. Seems simple enough, right? But knowing how much you can spend each month starts with knowing how much you take home. That means you can't build your budget based on your salary. It should be based on your net income. So get out some pay stubs and see what you're clearing after taxes, insurance, 401k contributions, and other stuff like that. Step 2. Determine your basic expenses. Figure out what your fixed expenses are every month. These are the things that don't fluctuate or change dramatically throughout the year, like rent or mortgage payments, good old car payments, insurance, and student loans. This is also a good time to make sure you have some kind of safety net to help you pay for these expenses in case of an emergency, like if you need a new water heater or your car needs a new transmission. Step 3. Determine expenses that vary each month. These are the things that change based on usage, like your phone and other utilities, as well as your grocery bill. That could change. You could also add up all those flexible expenses like clothes, restaurant meals, and entertainment costs. These are the costs that you have control over. Step 4. Determine what's really important. When it comes to creating a budget that works, you have to take a really hard look at what you feel is truly necessary. As much as you like to think you can't live without the latest gadget, this type of expense should go into the like-to-have category. So if you want to find the fluff in your budget, start digging into your variable expenses and rank what's most important to you. Do you really need unlimited texting on your cell phone? If not, get rid of it. Are you watching all the 437 channels of cable? No? Downgrade to basic. Step 5. Follow your spending and review monthly. You want to give your budget a fighting chance, right? So keep an eye on your wallet, and especially those credit cards, to make sure you're spending within limits throughout the month. It's easy to forget, right? And even easier for the small things to start adding up, so keep on it. Step 6. Keep track. Find a way that works for you to keep track of your expenses. That can mean the old pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or one of those new fancy fun budgeting apps. A lot of banks have these as part of their online banking. They are easy to find and use, so be sure to look for them. Then you just balance your budget. Keep your income information current and track your actual expenses monthly. After a few months, you'll start to see patterns. Then you can figure out where you can streamline and make adjustments. Now, if you don't want to go it alone, there are some sites all over the internet to help you analyze what you have coming in and what you're spending. All in all, making a budget is a process that will take some time and effort. But put these steps into place, and what you'll get in return is well worth it. Before long, you can have more money for the things you want, in addition to the things you need.
Okay. All right. I want to go back. Here it is. That's the one I wanted. You guys still there? The wheel. Okay, great. So how do you know? And that was pretty fast, and we do budget workshops. So, if you're interested, let us know. But how do you know if your financial plan is not working? It's because you don't know where your money is going or where it went. The difference between those that have money and those that don't is how they spend their money. So this is a important chart because you can look at 25 to 35% in housing and 10% in insurance and so on. You can, so it's a wheel, just kind of give you an idea of how you can break out your budget, but it just depends on where you are, okay? Wait a minute, let me just see something. All right. This is called the 50-30-20 rule. 50% for your needs, no more than 30% for your house. I had a lady who was spending 60% on her housing of her income. So guess what? She was robbing Peter to pay Paul. She was using credit cards, When you create the proper spending account, it will solve and prevent all financial problems to avoid undue stress and anxiety. 30% for your wants. Now, I'll talk about that in a second. 20% for your savings and debt repayments. I wouldn't probably spend 30% for my wants if I had debt. I would actually, I don't know if I can get out of here. I don't know how that works. I would actually put an extra 10% for my savings and my debt repayment. But it's up to you. The difference between those who have money and those that don't is how they spend it. They say plan for a rainy day. No, plan for a rainy 3 years. That's what you have to do. All right. So let's go into Bill Gates. All right. So what do you see when you see this picture? No Gucci, no Armani suit, no Rolex and things like that. The goal is to be rich, not to look rich. So stop thinking a budget is your enemy. It is your friend. It keeps you on track. It helps you not to overspend. See, the credit card industry is designed for us to pay more. Advertising is designed to appeal to our emotions. Debt is like a thief that steals your future. When you looked at those numbers, $1.8 million, it is a thief that steals your future and prevents you from investing and growing later. So it doesn't mean that millionaires don't buy lavish items. They just put more thought into it before they swipe their credit card. For me, debt is like a thing that keeps me from going where I want to go faster, So what do? Before making purchases, kings and queens, think thoroughly. Think through the decision carefully to determine whether it's going to make you closer to your financial goals or push you farther away. If you buy things you don't need, you soon, Allen Iverson and all of them, I got this quote from them. If you buy things you don't need, you soon will have to sell things you need. So I'm not against having fun. I'm just against not being able to have a financially free lifestyle. Now, this is really interesting. And I'm not going to go over every particular item here, but look at how the different classes view money. Those that earn the least spend the most. People in poverty say money is to be used. It's supposed to be spent. Middle class says it's supposed to be managed, oversee, control, manage your debt, understand how money works, set up a budget. The wealthy says it's supposed to be conserved for future generations, generational wealth, financial legacy. So how are you viewing money is the question. And when you look at time, those in poverty say the present is the most important. There's that instant gratifications, decisions made for the moment based upon feelings of survival. That's that I got to buy it now, that want, I got to have it. The middle class is the future is more important. They weigh their decisions against the future ramifications. If I spend now, the money I spend now could be the income I have later. You don't want the old you to be real pissed off at the young you. The old Tanya saying, what was you doing? Now we broke. We don't have any money. All right, that doesn't make any sense. And the wealthy are all into traditions and past history. Their decisions are made partially because of tradition. So that's just interesting. I just thought that was an interesting one. I just thought I put that one in there. I'm not going to go over this because I could spend 8 hours. So I'm not going to tell you that immediate gratification. Why people fell at the money game is because of those 6 things. You know, even if you couldn't afford to eat out, you put it on a credit card. If you want to buy new clothes, you charge them and worry about it later. These bad habits are allowing you to live the lifestyle that you want for a while until the debt catches up with you, you know. So train your mind not to have the immediate gratification. But what I really want to talk about here is failure to understand tax laws. So I'm going to give you some freebies here. If you've ever go to this website, don't go to it right now, but go to this website. It's the usdebtclock.org. You're going to see all kind of calculators. I mean, from credit card debt to student card debt. We are $27 trillion in debt. So I'm going to ask this question. You guys can write in the chat. Do you believe taxes are going up or down? Everybody says taxes are going up. And when you look at this, you're going to see taxes are going up. We're 27 trillion in debt and 82 trillion in unfunded debt with interest. So taxes are going to go up. So why is that important to you? You need to know a simple concept, and it is the IRS has 2 basic rules. Pay me now or pay me later, but you're going to pay me. Which one should you pay them on, the seed or the harvest? Okay. I think this looks better right here. The seed or the harvest. You're going to pay taxes on a penny, you're going to pay taxes on a million. If you pay taxes on the seed, then you won't have taxes at retirement. You pay taxes on the harvest, then you're going to have a greater tax burden. So that's not what you want, right? So when we talk about the money game, you're not knowing how to take advantage of the money game. Understand the tax laws is how the rich stay rich. I think we already know that by right now, all right? We already know who pays the taxes, right? Okay, so how do you win the money game? 2 ways, rate of return and taxes. So you have 3 buckets. You have your taxable bucket, your tax deferred, and your tax free. What I try to get my clients is 99% of you guys, most people have their money in their taxable or tax deferred bucket. What I try to do is get you to learn how to be in the tax-free bucket. Your tax-free bucket is your taxable bucket is your CDs, your stocks, mutual funds, savings account, your income. Your tax deferred or your 401ks, your 403bs, your 457s, all those numbers. What are those? They are tax codes, but your tax-free bucket has a code. It has your Roth IRA, but it has a tax code. It's called 7702. Boy, you ever really know how to work the 7702? That's how the wealthy get wealthy. That's how they use the 7702, which is a life insurance retirement plan. And if set up properly, it protects your savings from loss. It protects your upside potential. It puts compound interest to work for you. It maximizes the use of your tax advantage savings. It redirects funds that you could be saving to get a better value. This is an hour of itself, so we don't have time to go over it, but you really want to get into the tax-free bucket. That's what my goal is. I teach people how to put more money into the tax-free bucket because why? Taxes are going up. I don't write these articles, but there's a reason why they say that this plan isn't working, because we found that when people are educated about money, they're more competent and more motivated to take control. In other words, the best person wins. All right. Okay, so we're almost coming on down. All right, so we do financial planning for whatever, however you file your income tax, whatever it is. And I'm going to show, because I don't want to get all discombobulated when I get out of this screen and get into another to show you something. So when I get into it, I'm going to show you one time. All right. But as a business owner, do you know that the IRS will help pay for a retirement plan for you? If help you pay if it's set up properly? Did you know how that works? I mean, from 401ks to profit sharing to SEP IRAs to the whole bit. All right. We do the design, the administration, and show you the best funding for entrepreneurs. Okay. All right. I thought this was interesting because 70% of, it's time for us to pass our business and knowledge to the next generation. 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation and a stunning 90% by the third generation, 90%. That's like crazy. Only 10% of family businesses pass to their grandchildren. Money seems to be moving away from which it was created. The first generation makes it, the second spends it, and the third blows it. We got to stop that. How are we going to how are we going to change the wealth gap? All right. Having a business can be very, very profitable. So to ensure your business doesn't die with you, you need to build a legacy, and we show you how to do that. This is my daughter. She's here, and you guys will get a chance to meet her if you join us. We have 3 goals: creating wealth, preserving wealth, and transferring wealth. We have 3 kids, about 4 or 5 grandkids, and she's the only one that wants to be in the business. Good for her, right? She gets to get all the money, all right? Okay, all right. Okay, isn't this a cute little baby? We have a $1 million baby program. Oh, goodness gracious. I get real excited about that. This will change your family tree forever. With a stroke of a pen, you can create a financial legacy. You don't have to save for it. You don't have to even have good credit. All you have to do is accumulate. So while you're accumulating assets and your stocks and your bonds, and Danny's showing us how to buy all this real estate, you can already, with a stroke of a pen, create a generational wealth plan. And I'd love to show you how to do that. It takes some time, but there's a $1 million baby program. There's a little video, but you guys got to see it. All right. Now, this is something that is extremely, extremely important, because there's 3 things that we have to prepare for. It's called planning for the unexpected. One of these things, and maybe 2 will happen. We often recommend that 7702 program as a starter because it delivers 3 things that you'll be hard-pressed to find in any other saving instrument in the market. If you die too soon, become ill, or live too long. So if you die too soon, who depends on your income? Your spouse, your parents. You know what I always say, how come you guys don't have your grandfather's picture on your mantle? Most people don't, because he didn't leave you anything. If he would have left you something, you would have probably had a statue of him, you know? So who depends on your income? If you become ill, what's going to happen if you can't work for 6 months? You're still going to have to pay your rent. You're still going to have to pay your mortgage. You're still going to have to make your car payments and deal with a whole lot of expenses. They're not going to go away. Business owners, are you aware that there are plans that if you get sick or have a disability, and a disability can be almost anything, you just can't go to work, they would pay for your overhead. They would pay for your salaries. Long-term care. I mean, this is some serious stuff. And if you live too long, you don't want your money to run out before you run out. Have you thought about long-term care? Remember, your investments become your income later. So if anything stops you from earning money, become ill, then it's going to stop you in the future. So, you know, we live in our own little world with our own little attitude. This can never happen to me. But the number one reason that people fail is they don't prepare for the unexpected. See, we all have a legacy, whether planned or unplanned. Active planning allows us to pass on a financial legacy. So you will ever be known by the tracks that you leave. I know you know all those entertainers who didn't have a will and they didn't have this and they didn't have that. I would love to sit down with everyone and show you how to develop a plan for that. But are you going to leave bills or benefits? You know, that's me when I was a little girl, right? Yeah, right. Okay. No, that's not me, but she is cute. Okay. So you have the opportunity to write your legacy, to write your story, you know, watch who you listen to. I mean, Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey, they got some really good stuff, but they don't believe in generational wealth. The programs that they recommend when it comes to insurance, it's not a generational wealth. So it may be good for their communities, but it's not good for ours. So opinions are like yesterday. Everybody has them. So you want to watch out for that. We want to create this because why do our children have to start over and over and over again? We got to start giving them a head start, team. So what I did tonight was bring the future into the present so you could do something about it now. How powerful is that? Building wealth is a long-term strategy. Even though you can build it, I'm the Wealth Accelerator, so I can show you how to do it, but you can have some fun, but don't get so focused on enjoying now that you don't plan for the future. People don't plan to fail, they what? Fail to plan. We say that so, oh, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. That's serious, okay? It's, you know, so if it's ever time to achieve financial, economic freedom, the time is now. There is no power in procrastination. We have workshops, and financial literacy is a commitment. So I just want to tell you to continue your education. You know, people come to me and say, Tanya, you changed my life financially. And I go, oh, wait a minute. I didn't change anything. I just gave you the information. You did the changing. It's time for action. So what are you going to do to maximize your wealth? You know, through our workshops, you can become a lifelong earner. Okay. And this is so powerful to me. I love this. You see that, the wealth? Your wealth will determine where you live, and where you live will determine where your children go to school, and where your children go to school will determine the quality of your children's higher education, and your children's higher education will determine your children's lifelong earnings, and your children's lifelong earnings will determine where your children live, and where your children live will determine where your grandchildren go to school, and when your grandchildren go to school will determine the quality of their higher education, which will determine their lifelong earnings, which will determine another generation future. If nothing changes, I hope tonight it was our wake-up call. I hope tonight that you will answer the phone and make some decisions to make some changes. So in summary, and then I'm going to get out the screen and try to do a screen share to just show you a couple of things, but you should pay yourself first, make it automatic. You should have 6 months of living expenses in an emergency fund. Start with 1,000. Treat savings like an expense. Purchase the right type of insurance. Don't listen to Susie Orman and Dave Orman on Dave Ramsey on that, I'm telling you, okay? Get out of debt. Set up a savings and spending plan. Develop a lifestyle that supports spending below your means. Consider an all-cash diet. Avoid the use of credit debt. Now, Mr. Roundtree talked about sometimes it can be used for a tool, but in general, just putting some clothes on it, that's something different. Develop a millionaire mindset, love yourself, and understand how tax laws affect your bottom line. So now let me see if I can do what I think I can do. Okay, let me see. Oh, what am I looking for? You guys go, what? What is she looking for? Okay, here it is. Now let me do a new share. You guys see this man choose the plan that meets your needs? Yes. Okay, great. You guys having fun? Wave your hand if you are. Can't see nobody? Okay, I don't know. Let's see, view. All right. If you are a business owner, let's just go down 125%. Okay. All right. So there's all kind of plans for you business owners. Simple. You can put in as much as $57,000. Okay. In your simple 13,000, 19,000. I just wanted to show you this, that there are plans available for you to earn the kind of money that we talked about earlier. 401k, profit sharing, defined benefit. I say do the tax-free first and then get into this. All right, so I'm going to get out of that. And now I'm going to show you one of the clients that we had. She was spending $685 a month on credit cards. So this could be a credit card. This could be, is this a new share? Do you see the, yeah. Okay. This could be a credit card. This could be a card note. It could be anything. So I just ran. I said, you know what? Remember, do you want it? Do you like it? Do you need it? Do you love it? She puts in $7,000 a year is what she's paying on a credit card. It could be a car note. I almost bought a new car myself, and I got 4 or 5 cars outside. So I get caught up in that too. But over a 30-year period, her money grew to $1.7 million. Now, this is very important. Pay yourself now. Pay taxes now or pay taxes later. You want to pay taxes on the $232,000 or do you want to pay taxes on the $1.7 million? I thought that made it really clear. All right, so I am done. Let me get back to where we were. Where? Present? Now I act like I don't know what I'm doing, huh? Oh, no, that's for this side. There we go. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. So, oh, wait a minute. Text the word automatic. I wonder why I say automatic to 22828 to receive 10 ways to save without a budget. Now, actually, it's 10 ways to save while you were making your budget, because I think you still need to have a budget. All right. So text that. And if you want my information, we'll go from there. Oh, wait a minute. I got to show you guys something. Here I go. All right. I co-forward a book. All right, there I am, and I'll show you. So for those of you who sent, oh, this is a new share. Do you see that? Okay, so for those of you who send us your email or want to speak with us, I'll give you a free copy of the book, but it's the new rules of retirement saving. It's going to blow your mind. I wrote for it. I feel real good about that. And I'm just going to prove to you that they say I'm a wealth accelerator. I don't know how to see. I'm known as the Wealth Accelerator. I rapidly bring a prosperous future for my clients with integrity and commitment and excellence. Okay, I just thought that was pretty cool. All right, and so I have 2 books. That's one, and the other is, oh, I don't know how to get to the other. But anyway, you guys get my point. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Wait a minute. My daughter's going, Anyway, forget it. Oh yeah, the no compromise retirement plan. So I wrote the forward with that as well. All right, that is the end of my presentation. Danny, I don't know what to do. Do I, wait a minute. Erin's telling me to go back to my PowerPoint. Is that a new share?
They're raised in non-pollution areas. They eat.
Okay, so
raised on lavender fields.
So how do so I'm gonna stop my share and Danny give it back to you. Oh, I know. I make you the co-host.
No, you can just stop sharing, but
Okay.
yeah, don't worry about it. I got it from here.
You got it?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
All right.
I'm doing that, and then I'm doing that, and then I'm just going to stop sharing.
Okay.
All right. So, Tanya, thank you so much for taking the time out to come through and drop that information on us. I know it was a lot to try to get through in a short amount of time, because I know all of those sections that you touched probably have a bunch of subsections underneath them that you could have gotten into. But the thing that's important about this group is that we're not trying to give you your entire financial education or real estate or credit education in one night. What we're doing is introducing you to concepts and topics that they never gave us while we sat in schools that our parents' taxes paid for us to go to. Mm-hmm. So we're introducing concepts to you, and then it's up to you with your own level of curiosity and wonder to dig into these topics and then hire the professionals or seek out information on your own to learn more. So, you know, this was really educational for me, because I'm getting closer to this point of needing to like organize and plan things better. And, you know, I'm good at what I'm good at, but to be honest, I'm terrible at budgeting for myself personally. You know, we were kind of making jokes in a chat while you were talking. Crystal was saying she got to cancel Postmates. I said, yeah, I'm out here paying $17 for 2 donuts. You know what I'm saying? They're killing me with fees. And that's just, you know, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people struggle with. So I was telling the group, I think last meetup that we had, that what happened for me was somebody kind of introduced trading options to me in the stock market. And instead of me trying to learn it all on my own, like I've done with a lot of other things, I just hired a professional. You know, yeah. I hired somebody to help me get closer to understanding and being good. And even though I still don't completely understand it, being completely transparent, I'm closer to being good at it than I would have been if I would have been struggling on my own. I might have quit if I didn't hire somebody to help me get there. So what I would say is that, man, you should definitely look into hiring people like Tanya. If you want to work with somebody who knows their stuff, you need to reach out to her and join her circle and help somebody help get you on track, because all these things are important. We talk all the time about how many of our people end up in probate court unnecessarily when people pass away. And it's because they might have had a will, or my grandma had a will, my grandpa had a will. Yeah, but your will is not going to keep you out of probate court. You know, that's only right. Having a trust and only being properly set up is going to do that. So, again, Tanya, thank you so much. Now we can do Q&A, I guess, for 8 minutes or so. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
fine. I got a question.
Yes.
Hey, Tanya, this is Larry Hughes. Let me put on my video. How you doing, Tanya?
I'm doing good, Larry.
Good. Tell me briefly in your thoughts about, and I'm sure you can expound on this greatly for the group, and I think it'd be beneficial, your thoughts about the term I've heard called income shifting, when people change their deductions that they're being taken out of their taxes so that they get more of their income now. Do you focus on that or teach about that as well?
Yeah, that's more under a CPA category, but the only thing I can say about that is you really got to get with a CPA, because you can do that, but you have to make sure that when you, at the end of the year, when you file your taxes, you're not going to owe a lot. So you really got to get with a CPA that specializes in that. But that is a way. I mean, it has something to do with your deductions, your dependents, a whole kind of lot of things, how you're shifting. But you have to get with a CPA on that. That's not my lane. I know it. I don't pay a whole lot of taxes, you know. So I also say that you have to get a good CPA, but you can do that. Mm-hmm. And I also, I meant to, and I don't want to have to reshare the screen, but we have ladies, we have a financial literacy club for women only. Now, guys, I can meet with you too. Just send me a chat and we'll do a private consultation. But we actually have a financial literacy club. And I would like to, Danny, can you just share the screen one more time? I just want to show them.
Oh yeah, you should still have, You should still have permission. You're the co-host.
Oh, okay, let me just share that one more time. It's called Women. Can you see it, Erin? Women Worthy of Wealth. That's me, that's Erin. And we call it the new club in town. And so we do financial coaching, we do monthly webinars, financial consulting, the whole bit. And it's only $9.95 a month. And my people get really upset with me because they're like, Tanya, you could be charging $1,500, $100,000, $2,000, $5,000. I'm like, I know I can, but I just want my ladies to get it, because I can do a whole seminar on statistics for ladies. So if you're interested, join the club. We're having a lot of fun. We meet the first Zoom, the first and the third Thursday of every month. And we have a lot of fun showing you guys how to make a lot of money. And it's just a wealth building club for ladies only. And so guys, send your wives, send your sisters, send your brothers, send whoever you want, but it is for women. So I just wanted to show that. I forgot to show that. So yeah.
That's really great. And I mean, for the ladies in the room, I would highly suggest, if you don't have anybody in your corner giving you a financial game, that you sign up, because I mean, you're going to trick that $10 off throughout the month on something else, whether it be, Starbucks or, snacks here and there. I mean, we run through $10 all the time. It's funny because we'll spend 10 on something that we don't need, that's not good for us, but then be ready to clutch it when it's time to spend it on something that can actually help us level up. So don't be that person. Yeah,
don't be that person. But ladies, come and join us. We're having fun. So let me get back to your screen if there's any other questions.
Okay, anybody else? We got Q&A session going now. You got any questions for Tanya before we get out of here?
I do have a question. Hi, it's Mickey. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, thank you for the awesome information. It's been great, so I really appreciate it. My question is, it's two-part, how do we change our mindset because of everything that's going on? It's so sensationalized. We've got, training our kids in school, we're working from home, and we're either spending to cope or spending to survive. So where does saving play into that, and how do we balance that out? The other question is, some of us have come into like more money during the pandemic, and things are coming our way from every direction. Buy a house, buy this, do that, but we don't even have a budget for our family or insurance for our family. And nobody's teaching us that, but they're telling us to spend and go get a house. And we're like, yeah, that's a good idea because I just got 50 grand, but we don't have the basics. So
yeah,
more about balance and how do we change our mindset to think more long-term instead of short-term, so we don't end up doing something that we might regret because everything is so sensationalized.
And it is all about mindset. I mean, I have one of our webinars, and I just didn't, like Danny said, Tanya, he said, I try to get as much as I could into this, and I know I went really fast, but it really is all about our mindset. It's how we think about money, how we interpret money, it is all about our mindset. And so you only control what you can control. And you are so right when you said that people are telling you buy this. If you don't have 6 months of living expenses saved up, if you don't have the proper insurances, you might end up losing everything. So don't fall into that. I mean, our goal is, we try to help people avoid the financial traps. You want to start investing, you want to be knowledgeable, join our club. You want to develop the habits of a mindset, millionaire mindset. As a matter of fact, we have a mastermind club, and get this book, because the mindset is a whole, and Danny, one day let me come back and just talk about that. But the Think and Grow Rich, get that. It will tell you how to change your mindset, because that is really what it's all about. But you have to develop the habits of a millionaire. I mean, think like, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to think like them. So I would say I wouldn't get caught up into that. Yes, I want to buy a house. Yes, you want some property, but you got to have 6 months of living, 6 months to a year, depending. If you're self-employed, you need about a year. It's already 6 months. The people that have been affected by COVID, it's been over 6 months. So what if you didn't have any money? So just get your finances together first. And that's what we teach in our financial literacy class. Get your finances together first. Then we'll show you how to set up that house fund. Yes, buying a house is great. You might get with Danny, might buy a house out of state just to have that money coming in. So there's all kinds of things to do, but that's a great question. But I would say get that book, Think and Grow Rich, because it's very, very powerful. It would teach you a lot. You know, our emotions, you know, our money is affected by our emotions. I had a lady, and we got to not have our emotions. It's called the wheel of emotions. I had a lady who was really upset with her dad, and he told her, he said, give me some money. And she said, no, I'm not giving you any money. And then when he died, she found out that he wanted money to pay the taxes. So she thought his house was going to be her house, and it wasn't, because he lost it because he didn't pay the taxes. So but she had those emotions. See, our emotions are affected by money. And so we teach you how to kind of go about that, because money is more about the mind than it is about the math. And that's the truth. So, yeah.
Tanya, I'd like to share something.
Oh, okay.
Well, first of all, thank you for all of that knowledge that you have taken and shared with all of us on the call today, or I should say this evening. I just kind of want to give like a testimony that for everyone listening on this call, and then of course, Miss Mackey just shared with you that she has the Women of Wealth Club, just for women. But my testimony is that I have known Miss Mackey since 1987, and that's a long time. I met her when I was first with Los Angeles Police Department, and met her. Didn't know she had already known my mother and my father, who were also LAPD. But over the years, Miss Mackey and I have become very close friends. She's like my sister. But what I want to say is that she is definitely like my executive financial coach. And you find people that multitask, you find people who do several different things. But what I can say about this lady is that she has literally been laser focused of everything that had to do or has to do with financial planning, financial literacy. So when you're looking at wanting to know how to invest or how to get out of debt or not get in debt, and you know how to have a budget and all of that, Miss Mackey is the one that you definitely want to go to. So she has helped me, and I like the fact that she will meet you where you are. She's not going to try to take you somewhere where, you know, just because the Joneses are over here or they're putting in this amount, and she will meet you where you are, ladies and gentlemen. So that means a lot too. And I think that's what has helped me as well, because over the years, I've had to go back to her where I kind of got off track, and I'd be like, uh-oh, Tanya, kind of did this, kind of did that. I need to get back on track. And she'll help me to get right back on track. And then also when I just need advice, I'll go like, hey, you know, Tanya, I'm thinking about wanting this boat. You know, here's what I got right now. Can I get the boat right now? And she'll be like, no, you need to just wait a little bit longer, save a little bit more. So I just want to let everyone know that, Tanya, you've been such a great inspiration to me. And I just appreciate all of your wealth and your knowledge and your experience that you don't mind sharing with everyone else. You don't find that in a lot of people who are sincere and really wanting to help people. So thank you for helping my daughter. You know, I've got a daughter who went to the Air Force Academy and everything. But, you know, Tanya is a big factor in helping me as I was a single mom to do the right things that I needed to do to help myself, as well as helping my daughter. So thank you so much, Tanya. I appreciate you and love you.
Oh, thank you. I'll send you a check afterwards. You know,
I'll be waiting.
You know, what's really interesting, I've been working with LAPD, the city, for over 30 years. I can walk into any department and they'll still say, oh, hi, Tanya, how you doing? And everything, because I treated them right and I did them right. You know, I don't have to like hide, like, oh my God, I did some people wrong. So that's where I met Alicia. She had just started the department and I did roll call training and she was there and we got together.
That's great. So yeah, I think, guys, again, like I'm gonna keep hammering this point home. You gotta hire professionals. You know, don't try to learn all of this stuff on your own. Like, oh, I can just watch a couple YouTube videos and yada yada, and I'll figure it out. I'm telling you, this is the fast track to get ahead, because now I have a personal accountability coach who I pay. I have a stock options coach I told you guys about that I pay. I could be using that money for other things that, you know, for trinkets and stuff that would entertain me, but I wouldn't be leveling up as fast, you know? So make sure you invest back into yourself. And ladies, go ahead and kick that $10 in, man. Get somebody in your corner that can help get you straight and on the journey you want to be on. Because right now, you know, I hate to admit it, but Black women are leading the charge right now in our community as far as entrepreneurship goes, ownership goes. You guys are setting the tempo, you know, so the more knowledge that you can get, the better you can do and everything that you're trying to accomplish.
We're going to put one of our financial literacy links in there, you guys can link on it, and then it'll take you someplace, and then you'll see some stuff. So, Dan, if you can just keep the chat open just for a second.
Okay, no problem. Any more questions in the Q&A? Any more questions? There's no bad questions.
Must have been thorough.
Yeah. I know one person had asked again, they wanted to just know again how they could sign up for the Women Worthy of Wealth group.
Yeah, Erin is putting one link in, but I put my telephone number and my email in the chat. So just send me an email or send me a text. I'm really good with text. I corrected my number. I said 923-8740, but 8640. So yeah. Love to have you ladies and guys too. I remember, well, who was that who came to my office? Oh, he must have got off the call. Okay, but okay. Well, I really appreciate you, Danny, for trusting me with your people. Larry came to my office and kind of heard some stuff, and we did some stuff. So Larry, remember when you came to my office?
Yeah, I sure did. Very informative. And guys, when she said she's very modest, when she says she owns a building across, it's a full-blown house, bomb. So when you walk in there, you like, this is an office. She treats the house as her office, and so she walks the talk. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it made financial sense. But I live right across the street, so I like just walk across the street. It's like pretty cool. But I thank you, Danny, and so yeah, like to do some more properties and some good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for tapping in. Thank you, Tanya, for taking the time out to deliver the info. And I'm gonna let all y'all go so you can go yell at the screen while you watching the debate replay. And we out of here, man. Until next month. And obviously, if you're not following us on social media, make sure you do, because we got all the flyers for the meetups there. Next month, I'm going to do a special presentation on Section 8 rentals. Larry was kind enough to slide his presentation back to December for me. And I'm gonna go in on these Section 8 rentals and show you guys exactly how I'm doing it and how I was able to not miss a single rent payment during this entire pandemic and why it pays to go that route. So guys, until next month, we out of here, and thank y'all for tapping in.